Yo, peace. What it do? It's your man Gonzi. Here for my first beat breakdown. Wanted to try something new. I know you guys who follow me on IG are used to my little making, rough draft sort of beats. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, talk about some of the thought processes, and actually show you, how I go about making beats and different techniques. And then of course talk about how J.R. Smith ties into all this and what really drove the beat. So I hope y'all enjoy. Forgive the crudeness. I'm using, the equipment that I have, which isn't much, but hopefully if you guys enjoy it, the production value will go up accordingly. So we'll see how it goes. All right, y'all. So here's a quick breakdown of the 6-man beat here on the machine. The sample is from one of the more recent Rutger Collective composition packs from drumbroker.com. I would recommend anything from Rutger Collective. They have continuous heat, so check that out. But here's the sample played as it comes. So that's the first pattern, second pattern right now. So as you can see, it's pretty dope as it is. I didn't really want to do too much to it, but I'll show you a few of the things that I did do. I applied, so essentially the same pattern is broken out to group A and group B. And for these type of beats, I like to always do the one group as a bandpass filter and another group as a low pass to kind of separate them, but also to give it, some more sort of, added dimension to the sound. So I also pitched it down one tune and stretched it. So if we listen to just the sample with the bandpass and the low pass playing together, this is essentially what we got. See the bandpass playing as well. So again, you could in theory, chop it up a little bit, maybe double up on some of them. But for this one, it just felt like this particular pattern was good. I wasn't going to mess with it too much. So if we go on to the second pattern and move over here. So the same situation here. I've got the second pattern played out on the D and E pads with the band pass, low pass on E, pitched down and stretched again. So let's hear what that sounds like. So this one I felt was good as well, but again I needed a third pattern because I wanted to keep it in the whole thing of J.R. Smith and shooting threes. So I was like, what could I do for the third pattern? So this particular one I ended up chopping up and doing something a little bit different for the third one. So if we watch that one, let's go back and play that. You'll be able to see on the pads what I did. So just something a little bit different. I definitely wanted to do some sort of chopping and mixing up with it. So not only was it that it wasn't just completely linear, but also, again, JR does what he wants at times, and so he's not afraid to experiment and all sorts of things. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, just kind of get out of my comfort zone a little bit and try something different. So I like how that came out. What else did we do here? Also have a group for some tambo hits because, again, 90s, you need that, sort of Lord Finesse, sort of, DITC, jazz, anything with jazz, I just felt like it went well with it. And then some added bass as well, some sub bass, which you can hear. And then it kind of, depending on the pattern, the bass, sub bass is a little bit different to kind of match it. Last but certainly not least is the drums. If we go here, and again, I wanted it to be a live sort of, loud aesthetic, because again, arena's loud, something, that grabs you and makes you feel like you're in a concert or something like that. So ended up going into the Bullyfinger bag, shout out to Bullyfinger, and grabbing a break from there and put it into 8 pads. So if we listen to that, this is what it sounds like. So the reason that I break it up into pads like that is just to kind of help where I can, manipulate the pattern and make it sound a little bit different, because typically your boom bap type stuff usually just lives within this one pocket. How many times we've heard that? So I like the flexibility of being able to kind of go back and forth, so you can go. So you got some options there, and that's basically what I did, was kind of go and do a few different patterns there. But the drums themselves, they sound great, analog drums. I did compress them a little bit, add a little bit of reverb, that sort of thing, but nothing too crazy. They kind of stand out, on their own. So initially, when I made the beat, it was really just the first 2 patterns. I felt like it was good, but it still needed like a little bit more. Let it sit for a while, and I actually hopped on X144's pop-up stream. Shout out to the sound wizard X144, and he said something on there that resonated with me. Is essentially that when making beats, even if they're short beats, we should be thinking about what story are we trying to tell? How can we make it into more of a composition as opposed to just a quick beat or loop or something like that. After that, I kind of was putting more thought into what I wanted to do. Got on Vanderslice's Saturday submission stream, which we affectionately call Sample Mania. Shout out to everyone in the Vanderslice community. When I was in there, I had submitted another beat. Essentially, Van called me the 6th man of the community, and I think what he meant by that was just that I was a guy who kind of came in, one of the newer guys, and was able to really absorb a lot of the different jewels that everyone was dropping and just kind of grow. As a result, I kind of got that moniker from Van. So I was like, well, what does it mean to be the 6th man? If you think about the 6th man in the NBA, the 6th man is the guy who, he's not in the starting lineup, but he's the first one off the bench. He's the catalyst, he's the spark, he's the one that energizes the team when they need it the most, So I kind of wanted to bring that sort of clutch mentality. And of course, me being a New York Knicks fan for life, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's only one 6th man that we recognize, and that is the Henny God himself, J.R. Smith. I was like, how could I take elements of that and kind of tell a story in this beat and make it interesting and that sort of thing, and make it apply? So I was like, all right, well, I got to find some press clips from him. I got to find highlights that he did. I found a highlight where he hit a buzzer beater going into halftime from like 50 feet away at midcourt, something like that. He already had like 6 threes in the first half, and he was just on fire. And so it resonated with me for a couple of reasons, because first of which, again, is the 3. So I'm like, with him, it was always about the 3 and that sort of thing. I was like, maybe I could make the beat kind of in, 3 sorts of phases, 3 patterns. And so that's essentially what I did. So I went back. That's when I actually made the 3rd pattern. I took the second, the first 2 patterns just kind of play as is, but the 3rd pattern I played separately and wanted to kind of make it, just to give it some sort of, added flair, which again, J.R. Smith is all about, flair and all that. So that was something that I wanted to approach with it. And being on sort of a hot streak, in my submissions, and just kind of, progressively getting better. So again, it kind of just fit. And then as far as the outro, which is like the post-game interview, and again, so, the song kind of ramps up where it's like, all right, it's halftime, this guy's on fire, beat drops, we got the 3 patterns, then you have your post-game interview, right? So So the post-game interview is basically JR in there, and I'm guessing they ask him some sort of question like, what was your thought process, or what made you take the shot? And he goes,
I mean, I was open, so I shot the ball. I mean, it's kind of simple for me.
and to me, that quote resonated with me for several reasons. The first immediately was, if you think about being open, it means that you have the best opportunity to score, right? And immediately I thought of the opportunity that Vanderslice was providing, not only for me, but for everyone in the community. So being open means you got an opportunity, you got to take advantage. And that's what JR is saying. He's like, I was open, I took the shot, And so that's kind of what, immediately made me connect the dots there. And also he was like, it's pretty easy for me. And again, I saw it on two levels. To me, it's easy for me to understand that if someone offers you an opportunity, if someone's looking out for you, you step up to the plate and give it all you got, right? And then of course there is also that little braggadocio, oh, this is easy for me. It's like kind of like, like I'm not the type to brag and all that stuff, but you also have to be your biggest fan. Again, another jewel from X144. That was kind of the piece that, made it just seem like it fit, all together. And so again, the whole beat is only about 1:20, but I wanted it to be this sort of, thing that builds. You got the three parts: halftime, on fire, three patterns, boom, three, and then your post-game interview, and it be a whole thing about, and then just having the different layers of what the six man meant. So, but yeah, that's all. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I definitely want to do this again. Hopefully I'll have better setup, better audio, and all that sort of thing. I just wanted to do sort of a rough draft and see what you guys thought. We'll see where it goes from there. Shout out to Vanderslice, shout out to Soy, shout out to X144. You guys have all helped me tremendously in just learning little tips and tricks and what to listen for and how I go about making beats. I can't thank you guys enough. Shout out to all the producers in the community, the MCs, all you guys, definitely push me and drive me to fulfill my role as the sixth man, you know what I'm saying? So salute to y'all.